Hello everyone and welcome to Morgan Mend. In today's video we're going to attempt to mend or repair this Nintendo GameCube. This is the Platinum color. I picked it up off of eBay a couple years ago for parts that are not working. The listing stated that it was not reading discs. As you can see, the condition is pretty poor. It's pretty beat up. It's definitely seen its share of use. But regardless, we're going to go ahead and go through it and see if it works, see if it doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, hopefully we will be able to mend or repair it. Stay tuned. All right, so we're going to go ahead and plug in our power cable. As well as our AV cable. And let's go ahead and insert a disc. True Crime, Streets of LA, classic. And let's see what we get. All right, so it does not appear to be reading discs. All right, I'm going to go ahead and try one more time. See what we get here. I'm going to try to listen to see if I hear that disc spin up. All right, so it is not reading discs. I did hear the disc spin and I did hear the laser move. Those are both good signs. So let's go ahead and rip this puppy open and see if we can fix it. All right, so let's go ahead and begin disassembly on this GameCube. Now, the only thing that secures this top shell onto the bottom housing is four 4.5mm game bit screws. So we'll go ahead and use a game bit driver to remove them. Let's go ahead and do that. Flip her over, get these screws out. I'll go ahead and lift off this top shell. Definitely a little bit dirty. Good thing I'm wearing gloves. I've seen worse though. Seen worse. All right, let's get these screws out of our way for now. I'm gonna go ahead and place all the hardware in a little plastic baggie. Like so, we'll set that off to the side. All right, now with the shelf, I'm gonna go ahead and connect this to power one more time. Try to get a better idea of what this thing is doing. I'm just gonna go ahead and remove this rear cover. Give me better access to that lid open close switch. Get that out of our way. All right, with that out of our way, I'm gonna go ahead and fire this bad boy up again, and I'm gonna hold the lid open close switch closed. And to do that, I'm just gonna push these two tabs back at the same time. And that will emulate the disc lid being closed and will allow me to see what this thing is doing. And plug this back into power. And then I'm going to go ahead and push on these two tabs and turn this on. Let's see what it does. So here the laser attempting to move, but now the disc is not spinning up at all. Try again. All right, laser moves. Disc is spinning now, and it's not reading discs. Try again. Spins up this time. Laser's moving, but not reading discs. So I'm of the belief that the potentiometer on this unit most likely needs to be adjusted. It's fairly easy to do. It does require you to tear down the GameCube a bit to get to it. But I think that may resolve our issue, so let's go ahead and tear this bad boy down. And we'll get that potentiometer adjusted, and we'll see if that resolves our issue. All right, let's go ahead and begin the teardown on this unit. So we're going to go ahead first and remove the controller port assembly. Just going to pull back very gently on these two tabs here to release the controller port. And then we're just going to pull up on this ribbon cable to release it. Mid-socket. All right, and that's the controller port removed. We'll get that out of the way. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and remove these two fan screws here. One here and one here. Go ahead and get those out of our way. Right now our fan assembly will pop out of the way. All right, and with the fan out of our way, we will go ahead and remove these 12 screws which secure the optical drive assembly to the GameCube, as well as the 4 screws that secure the controller port grounding brackets to the console. All right, so let's go ahead and do that now. We'll go ahead and get these out of our way. These will just pull out now. All right, and with all those screws removed, the optical drive assembly will now pop right off of the GameCube. So let's go ahead and pull that off, like so. I'm going to set that to the side for just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and place that disc back to protect the laser. All right, we'll set the bottom half of the GameCube off to the side for now. This is what we're going to be focusing on for the moment. All right, so here is the optical drive assembly. The potentiometer rests just below this metal shielding, so we're going to go ahead and also remove these 6 screws to access it. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'm going to go ahead and place all this hardware in the bag, and I'll be back with you in a minute. All right, and with those 6 screws removed, this metal heat shield will now pop off of the optical drive. And then this is the board that we're concerned with. This is the board for the disk drive. And right here is a potentiometer. All right, so we're going to take our multimeter. We're going to set it to 2,000 ohms of resistance. And our positive lead, we're going to probe at this leg here on the potentiometer on the board. We're going to probe that leg there with our positive lead, and then we're going to take our negative lead and we're going to probe this leg on the board. And when we do this, it will give us the resistance reading. So let's go ahead and do that now. Pay attention to the multimeter. All right, so we're probing this leg with our negative lead and this leg with our positive lead. Now sometimes you got to play around with this a little bit. It's very sensitive. Now this is the DOL-101 model GameCube. That's a pretty low resistance reading. Typically you'll see the resistance up around 400 to 500 ohms. And then I would typically dial it back to about 300 to 400 ohms to get that laser reading again. So I'm going to go ahead and try to dial it back just a hair. We'll try to shoot for maybe about 180 ohms, and we'll see what that does for us. All right, now to decrease the resistance on this potentiometer, I'm going to take a small Phillips head bit, and I've gone ahead and removed it right from my screwdriver to give me better control over how far I turn this. And I'm going to very gently turn this counterclockwise, ever so slightly, like so. And let's see what our reading is now. Shooting for about 180 here because this is already very low. All right, I'm getting a reading of about 156 ohms now, so I'm going to go ahead and roll with that, and we'll see if the disc reads now. I'm not fully reassembling this yet because I may have to come back in here. I'm just going to button it up for now, and we'll see if the disc reads. Let's do it. Pop our heat shield back on. Just line up those 2 tabs there. Bring over the GameCube again. And this socket on the optical drive just plugs into the socket on the motherboard. So we're going to pop that back on. I'm lining up this tab with this leg here. Make this pretty easy to do. And pop that back into place. All right, bring in our power cord. Plug that back into power. I'm gonna go ahead and push on the legs of the open close switch. And let's go ahead and turn it on and see if we get anything. All right, it is reading discs now. So that slight adjustment was just enough to get this guy to read discs. So we'll go ahead and try this one more time. All right, it is reading discs as it should, so that repair was successful. Excellent. All right, and with that repair having been successful, I'm going to go ahead and button this back up. Not fully, because I do have other plans for it. I do want to go through it and thoroughly clean it up. And I would also like to install Pico Boot onto this GameCube. So I may cover that in future videos. I may cover the cleaning process as well. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and button it up, and we'll show you it working, and we'll go from there. Quick little tip for you when you're reinstalling this top shell. Make sure you reinstall it with the lid in the open position. Otherwise, the tab on the lid could potentially break off the legs on the open close switch. You don't want to do that. Little tip for you. Go ahead and plug our controller in. Hopefully the controller port works. Reinsert our disc. Grab our controller, fire up, let's see what we get. Take two, I forgot to set my monitor to AV. Let's try that again. Go ahead and fire up and see what we get. And it's reading discs. All right, so that was a successful repair. We'll try that one more time. I'm going to go into the menu here. Gameplay menu. See how fast it reads it. All right, well, you're looking good.
The prodigal son returns, huh? Exactly.
All right, I think I've probably bored you enough. That is what I would consider a successful repair. All right, guys, thank you again for stopping by and watching the video. We successfully got this GameCube back up and running, reading discs as it should. So next up, I want to go through it, give it a good cleaning. I may or may not cover that. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. But my plans for this GameCube are to install Pico Boot. Pico Boot is a very cool mod. If you're not familiar with it, check it out. If your GameCube is not reading discs, go ahead and try that simple repair. It might just get you back up and running. All right, and with that, I will leave you. Thank you so much again for watching the video. If you found it to be helpful, please go ahead and leave a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.